representing England, Kane Francis. So fast on the floor there. What a ball from Francis.
Strongman is about finding out who's the strongest at moving big objects in the easiest way possible, I suppose.
And this is solid from the man from Dorset. Kane Francis. There it is.
For me, starting Strongman, I never had an interest in doing Strongman. I was quite happy powerlifting. I decided to throw myself in at the deep end just because I wanted to try something new. I also got told by someone that I could never beat them in something, and ego took over, so I decided to train. But I didn't expect to climb through the ranks like I did. I just love the challenge of something new. I love competing, I'm ultra competitive. I don't like being beat. I can be humble in defeat, but I always need that next goal to push for and something to aim for. So Strongman, it's a spectator sport as well, and it's just so fun to watch whether you're competing or watching the sport, and I just fell in love with it really.
It's probably down to picking the right parents. I think genetically he's extremely gifted. I know the volume in his previous program was huge, so his ability to recover is second to none.
Kane Francis literally fought that stone into position.
But that was my first England. That was a Fit Expo. That was the first time England was run by Giants Live or Official Strongman. Came second to that, Lou Richardson won. And then that was the one where somehow I managed to jump ahead of Andy Flynn on the last event, but he had like 4.5 points on me, so I needed 5 people between me and him on stones, and we had 6, which I think if you run that run 100 times, the chances of it going like that again would be very slim, but it worked out for me on the day, which is nice. Yeah, winning England's was a massive moment for me. For me personally, it's one of my greater achievements because I threw myself in the deep end in my first year. I very narrowly missed out on a win due to a lack of experience. In my second year, I came second, losing to only Luke Richardson, which I can live with that. And then coming into 2024, to get on the top of the podium, it's a lot of work. It's thousands of hours in the gym. To get that win and tick that box, it made it all worth it, do you know what I mean? So
England's strongest man, 2024, from Weymouth, Kane Francis.
I think the moment I felt like I really fit in to compete at that level was probably my second year at Britain's Strongest Man. They said it was the strongest lineup they think they'd ever had to date. When I finished top 5 in that show, that got me to World's Strongest Man for 2024. That was the moment where I thought, this is the level I belong at, and the imposter syndrome of thinking I shouldn't be here was sort of settled with that show, I think.
Great win though, Kane, and you've had a good night here.
I've had an amazing night. Glad to be back here again. Last year was my first year. I'll be back here again next year, I promise you that.
We were competing in the Strongman Champions League. It was the World Tour final, it was the last show of the year, and we were warming up for a deadlift, and I had a bit of a mishap where I felt 3 massive pops through my adductor and my lower abdomen. We was in prep for Britain's Strongest Man, and I pressed the log overhead, and as I've extended, felt the tendon come off, I felt it pull down my leg. I had a 10cm retraction in the end, so it ended it really, it just come off the bone. It's just the stress of, right, how am I going to get the money now, because I knew I had to go private. I had a small window to get this tendon reattached, or it could have potentially not have ever recovered 100%. Competing at my level now, I don't think I would have been able to continue doing that.
I've just come out of surgery about 30 minutes ago, so I'm a little bit fucked up. I think I'm still high. Honestly, mate, you guys do so much for me. I didn't expect you to donate anything, but thank you so much. I'll get back to you when I can, when I'm a little bit compos mentis, but say hello to Laura for me and thank her too, mate, and I'll catch up with you soon.
A GoFundMe was set up by a friend, Evan's Nana. I had a massive amount of support from that, like nearly £10,000 raised for that towards my surgery. So it's nice to know that I got that kind of support from people, because I didn't think that I was far along in my career that could happen for me. So it was quite humbling in a way to find out that people care that much about me, that they wanted to invest in me. So again, adding to the goals, the new goal is, right, get back, because I'm not doing it for myself now. I've sort of can't let the people down who have invested in me, otherwise they may as well keep their money. Do you know what I mean? So it's just, I want to prove to everyone that I was worth the investment. It's just a personal goal.
So I don't look at it as a massive, big obstacle to overcome, because once the surgeon's done his thing and the surgeon ticks him off and clears him for training, it's really quite easy from there. Because all he is at that point, with all due respect to him, is a week. He just have to build it back up.
So currently I've lost about 20 kilos since the injury. Mobility, sleep, blood pressure, everything's got better since I've lost a lot of weight. But again, it's just another thing that's going to be good for me. If I can get back to the strength I was at before without having all that body weight, I'm only going to be fitter and faster. So it's just another thing that I think is going to improve my career. I'm not looking to get back up to 150 plus again unless I need to. So it's just, we're going to creep back up slowly and see how my training goes and adjust accordingly. The hardest part wasn't necessarily not being able to train, it was doing nothing. So the first 2 weeks I was totally bedbound. I wasn't allowed to get up and walk around. I wasn't allowed to put weight on it. I couldn't leave the house. So the element of cabin fever comes in. I work 10 hours a day, then I train 3 hours a day after work. I don't get a lot of sleep normally, but from being 100% all day, every day to doing absolutely nothing, that was the hard part for me. It wasn't the not training, it was the boredom. That was more difficult than anything for me. And it ruined my sleeping pattern as well. So then I had become quite nocturnal. Instead of being able to go out all day and then sleep at night, I was sort of not falling asleep at night, sleeping through the day. It ruined my routine for my diet. So I ended up dropping a bit of weight and getting fatter than I was before. So it sort of knocked everything off course just from not having routine. And I need routine to stay on track of things. So that was the difficult part for me.
The biggest challenge is usually the mentality. As he's saying, he was getting a bit of cabin fever because he wants to lift. He's that kind of athlete. He's very, very dopamine dominant, very fire dominant. But he's been absolutely cool with it. He actually accepted it really quickly. So he got over the mental hurdle extremely quickly. A lot of athletes would have been in maybe a bit of a low period. He snapped out of it pretty quickly and was like, right, what do I do now? And he actually saw it as an opportunity.
I put everything into this recovery as much as I put into my training. Tom's been very helpful. So I think me starting with Tom was perfect timing, because I don't know what I would have done with this injury had I not had him in my corner and Dr. Peter. So it's all sort of worked perfectly. Like, this was all meant to happen, sort of thing. And since the injury, I've had a lot of time to think what I'm going to do. I can make lifestyle changes. I'm going to be changing my job. It's given me a lot of time to make good changes in my life that are going to only benefit my strongman career when I come back to competing again. Me and Tom started working together in September last year, so we're 6 months now. his coaching is very different to what I've had before. Like, he's very good at fine-tuning athletes. So little things, little exercises I've not heard of, he's getting me to do. So I'm learning as I'm progressing as well. I'm not just doing the same basic stuff. It's sort of much more intricate and refined.
100% he can. I think he can win worlds, but I think it's going to take a lot more in terms of lifestyle changes. The issue he's got is he's, I don't know, just over 6 foot, and these other guys are 6'8". You can't teach height, and these guys can put on a lot more mass, which makes moving events and maximal strength a lot easier. So in the long run, he needs to be looking towards becoming a professional athlete. He needs to be doing this full time. I know that's going to take some time, but I think those are the sacrifices he needs to make if he's going to become world strongest man.
So my next show definitely will be Britain's Strongest Man. Obviously with the injury, I qualified through winning England's Strongest Man, so fortunately they've allowed me to roll that over. The biggest drive for me to come back is watching everyone else. I went along to Britain's Strongest Man, although I couldn't compete. I wanted to support the guys, but there was a little part of me I didn't want to feel left out. I didn't want to be sat on my sofa at home watching it knowing that I should have been there. And I wanted to see what they were doing because I know that's where I should be as well. So when they will do better, it makes me want to do better. So that's the biggest motivation, is seeing how well everyone else does and just thinking, right, I want to get back in amongst them and I want to be competing with them again. I know I can be a threat at that level when I'm on form. So I just want them to be at their best. So when I can come back and try to be at my best, we can have a good little battle and see who's stronger.
Yeah, of course it is. You wait for the next 5 to 10 years in England as well, when all these boys and the new ones coming through. It's going to be insane. We're going to take over.
So you listen, you've won England's Strongest Man. Can you win Britain's Strongest Man? Can you even win World's Strongest Man?
Anything's possible, who knows? I'm 2.5 years into Strongman.
Ladies and gentlemen, England's Strongest Man. Raise it up for the Hurricane, Kane Francis.